All right, so first of all, Leslie, my wife Leslie and I would like to thank you for coming to our home tonight. We've had a very long association with the college. Mine stretches back almost 50 years, and Leslie's stretches back just about her entire lifetime, so that's about 25 or 6 years now. So very long association with the college. Before I tell two quick stories and make some introductions, there is a silent auction which I believe is in the den, and please go and bid and please help the college. There are a couple people I'd like to introduce. Father Leo over there, whom you will meet shortly. He actually married my wife and me many years ago. I don't remember not knowing him. He remembers not knowing me, and I think he was happier then. And I don't remember not knowing him since I was a little kid. He married us. He's baptized our 4 kids. He also sits on the board with me. He's been a lifelong friend of ours. That's one person. The second person I'd like to introduce also probably needs no introduction, Mariano Rivera. And if anyone knows me, I'm extremely thrilled because I've been a huge Yankee fan my whole life. My wife knows too well when the Yankees are losing, I yell at the TV. I think it helps. I don't know if they think it helps, but and I have. And I have one story to tell. So my wife and I lived in Tokyo, and our oldest daughter was born there. And in Tokyo, it's really nice. You get to spend a week in the hospital. So it was great for Leslie, great for Haley. There was one problem. I had to go pick up the kid on, it was either Saturday or Sunday morning, and Game 6 was on. And I had to do it by noon. So I found out from the hospital that special arrangements, I could do it by 8 a.m. Leslie's like, you're coming at 8 a.m.? Why the hell are you coming at 8 a.m.? Come at like a reasonable hour, 10. I can't come at 10. Why can't you come at 10? I couldn't tell her that. So anyway, so the game was on, and so I picked them up very early. I think she still is mad at me for that. And I picked them up very early. Haley and I went back, and Haley sat here. We watched the entire Game 6. We watched Girardi's triple. We watched Mariano 6 up, 6 down, 7 and 8. And then John Wetland made me yell at the TV a lot. And why the heck, H-E-L-L is probably what I said, did they take that guy out and put him in? And 3-2 was the final score. They had the bases loaded at one point, scored a run. I'm sweating, I'm not happy, yelling, and anyway, that's the story, and so that's the story about him. Last person I would like to introduce is the dynamic president of the College of New Rochelle and my very good friend, Judy Huntington.
Thank you so much. This is going to be short and sweet. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. You know, your presence here is so important. The money that we raise tonight is going to benefit the students at the College of New Rochelle in the form of scholarships. And for our students, even though we do, I think, an amazing job keeping tuition as affordable as possible and incredibly low competitively, rely so much on financial aid and scholarships to go to college. These are really hard-working kids, and they come from families that don't have a lot of support, but they are incredibly bright and really deserving of a college education. And the scholarship money that we raise tonight is going to go directly to students. Before I talk a little bit about Mariano, I want to thank Leslie and John for opening up their beautiful home to the College of New Rochelle, as they have done so many times in Chatham, the first time here in Greenwich. They've been longtime supporters of CNR. And I just wish I could see the expression on Leslie's face when John came home and said, "Sweetheart, I invited Mariano Rivera and 100 people over for dinner." I just hope that there's a little, where are you, John? That there's a little Tiffany's box on her pillow tonight. I'm sure there is, and if there's not, there'll be one there tomorrow. Small. but you'd have no idea the impact of scholarships and what it means to CNR. Today at one of our meetings, we were talking about students and student success. Let me give you just two quick stories about the College of New Rochelle students. A student from the School of Arts and Sciences, Luisa Garcia, who just graduated last year, produced her first program on CBS and sent us a video. This is incredible. She was a scholarship recipient, immigrant family from, I guess it was Puerto Rico, if I have that right? Colombia? Thank you. And then I heard about a student in the School of Nursing today who got accepted to a highly competitive program at Johns Hopkins as a resident. There were 200 applicants and only 10 were selected, and one was a CNR, School of Nursing student. So the scholarships are so meaningful. So as many of you know, last year I had the privilege of giving Mariano Rivera an honorary degree at Radio City Music Hall. And it was in recognition of his generosity, his commitment to service, his commitment to helping other people, and his deep commitment to faith. And you all know Mariano as this wonderful Yankee baseball player. What I've gotten to know Mariano is this incredible human being, and this man who is devoting his entire life, his God-given gifts and talents, to helping others, because that's why he believes he's here, and that baseball and the Yankees was just a way to do what you believe you're here to do, God's work. And that is what I admire so much about Mariano Rivera. I had the unbelievable experience of going to his church about 2 weeks ago, and this was something he did for the College of New Rochelle. He invited myself and our students and our staff and Tiffany and Elaine to his church and celebrated CNR and welcomed us in the most incredible way with music and lots of folks and singing, and it was the most moving, inspirational experience I think I've ever had. And some of us were brought to tears through the power of prayer. And there's no greater compliment to you, Mariano, than to experience your church and how important it is and the work that you're doing. And thank you for giving me that absolute privilege of experiencing that. As you know, Mariano has been so generous, and we started the Mariano and Clara Scholarship at the College of New Rochelle, and that funds full tuition, room and board for a student for 4 years. And we had our first recipient last year, Tiffany Alvarez, who's doing very, very well, and we're just so delighted to have this friendship and this partnership and relationship, and I thank you for that. So I have just one or two introductions as well. I'd like to introduce our chair of the Board of Trustees, Elizabeth Lavaca. I know I see Joe right there. Where's your charming wife? There she is. Please stand up, Elizabeth. Our chair of the Board of Trustees. And we have many trustees here today. If you could just raise your hand. They spend so much time at CNR, and they're so incredibly supportive, and I'm so grateful for all that you do, and I thank you. And we have Ursulines here today, and they are not guests. The College of New Rochelle is their home. This is their legacy, and we thank you for entrusting it with us. So the Ursulines, please. And I need to thank our sponsors who so generously supported us this evening. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read your names and embarrass you. Gwendolyn Adolph, who is a trustee. Thank you for being here tonight. And Pat and Lillian Carney, they're both here this evening. Our sponsors, thank you. Carla Ramita Eckelson, thank you, Carla. Tom from Culinart. I didn't know if I saw you, Tom. There you are in the back, thank you. First Niagara Financial Group, there are 2 members from First Niagara here this evening. Thank you. And Cullen and Dykeman, there's a whole team from our attorneys, Cullen and Dykeman. Sparks 451, of course, Elizabeth Lavaca. Dion Jennings Mayo, I know you're here with your son. Thank you very much. First Manhattan, Tim Ucia, I think I saw you earlier. Jane Reichley, a trustee. John Rataco, Putnam County, the new bank, nice to see you. And Ray, thank you for being here. Kevin Service, representing Verizon and a trustee. Joe Titoni from Icon 5 Architects. And Charlie, I saw you here as well. And Jonathan Wiener from Chestnut Holdings. Thank you all for being sponsors of this event. So now, I am going to turn this over to Father Leo O'Donovan, who's going to have a conversation with Mariano. I'd like to say, behave yourself, but that would be totally lost.
I was born ready, Father.
Thank you, Father Leo.
He was born ready, he tells me. Well, it's easier for you to get up in this chair. Ready?
Good?
He was born ready. Bud Selig, baseball commissioner. The greatest relief pitcher of all time. Guess his name. So, Mariano, do you miss it?
You want the truth or yes? Well, I do miss it. I do miss my friends. The game itself, I mean, is running through my veins, so I do miss that, but taking place and playing, I'm done with that. So don't think that you're going to convince me to go back and pitch.
Well, I remember you said once, my job, I get the ball, I throw the ball, and then I take a shower. I had lunch once with Colin Powell, and I asked him, when I was working in Washington, do you miss it, Colin? And he said, the military. And he said, no, Leo, I figured I had another bite at the apple. And you have taken another bite at the apple, but we'll come back to that. Tell us something. If I don't talk about baseball, I'll be banned from the college. Tell us something about learning to play baseball in your home of Panama.
Well, I want to tell you something special, something that is dear for me. Because, I mean, I see my kids now, and they have all kind of gloves, all kind of bats, all kind of equipment. Okay, me, I didn't have no glove. Well, I did have glove, but to me, they weren't two real gloves. They were cardboard. All right, that was my glove. And then, but I tell you, that was the best glove that I can have. Bats, see those trees like that? I got to find, we have a lot of trees, so I had to find the straightest branches that I can find and cut that branch. That was our bats. Baseballs, or clothing, or nets, old nets. I live in a fishing village. So we just wrap it up with tape, and that was our baseball. So we never stopped the game of baseball because we didn't have equipment. Although we didn't have equipment, real equipment, but we did have equipment. Meaning we have everything, and we're happy to be playing. So that's what I can tell you that for me it was priceless because, again, it means so much to me. You know, I start playing, that's where I started playing baseball. That's how I learned to play the game of baseball. You know, with that, and I mean, if I have to do it again, I will lovely do it again.
And you loved soccer too.
Oh yeah, that was something in a different level. That soccer for me was, I really thought that I would be a soccer player. You know, but the Lord has something different for me. The Lord knew better than I did. You know, thank God for that.
Do you think it helped that your dad realized and gave you a baseball mitt glove at 12?
Well, my father gave me actually, to be more certain or more accurate, the glove appeared around 16, 17 years old, something like that. It was used by my uncle. So it wasn't a brand new mat. It was just a used glove that my father bought from my uncle. Mm-hmm. And that was my first glove.
How did you decide that maybe you'd try baseball over soccer?
Well, actually, I didn't decide that. You know, I mean, the Lord made it easy for me. He chose for me. I was just just trying to keep playing soccer. But the point was that my knees and ankle was too bad that I move. I will have to be pushed to move to play baseball. Although I did play baseball since I was a little boy, 6 years old. So, I mean, baseball wasn't just something different for me or something that I didn't know. I really knew baseball, but my passion and love was soccer.
And when you did turn to baseball, what kind of a prospect were you? You've told me, but tell the crowd.
A prospect? I don't know about prospect.
I mean,
for the scouts. Well, I mean, I was already 20 years old. Okay, at 20 years old, I wasn't throwing 99 or 98 miles per hour. I was throwing around 87. 87, okay, 87. 20 years old. So, I mean, I got everything against me. But thank God for this scout. They saw something on me that he signed me just doing that. That was just, but the really thing about this was a miracle, the miracle of the Lord. Why I said miracle? Because I have everything against me, like I said. I wasn't throwing hard. I wasn't 16 years old. I wasn't in college, you know, so everything was against me. But the Lord has different plans for me, you know, so he opened the door for me and they signed me. And I wasn't a pitcher. I was everything but pitcher. Everything but pitch, yeah. I was catcher, outfield, infield, everything. But, I mean, we all did pitch. Everybody, every kid pitch, all right? But, no, I'm going to tell you that back. Every kid threw the baseball. All right, Father? Who? See, pitching and throwing is two different things. I knew how to throw the ball, and they signed me as a pitcher. I'm like, there's something wrong in this picture. No, but again, you know, the Lord chose for me, and the rest was history.
So in 1990, you go to the Gulf Coast League, and you speak no English.
No English.
And then?
Oh, my God. And then, but the beauty about that is that not knowing how to pitch or not knowing anything about pitching, I threw like 52 innings, something like that. They scored 1 run of me. And you think that I was just surprised as you guys are. I was like, wow, what's happening in here? No English. Oh, man. And I was so happy. Well, I didn't know. I was talking. I was so foolish. That I said, well, I don't need English to pitch. We have classes. We have classes. They give us classes, I think was 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have some novelas, soap opera going on. So, man, and it was good. So, Father, I'm like, oh, man, I got to sneak.
Had Clara entered the picture at this
point?
No,
Clara was there, but no, she was there, but she wasn't there.
I got it.
She was back home in Panama. So, my second year, they sent me to North Carolina. No Spanish. Oh my God. That was, to me, was one of the toughest years of my career. It wasn't the big leagues. The big leagues to me was good. Minor leagues, my second year in professional baseball. No Spanish. Couldn't communicate with my teammates. Couldn't communicate with my manager, with my pitching coach. As a pitcher, I'm like, oh my God. I used to go bed crying, not just because the game, just because I couldn't communicate. Mm-hmm. You know, thank God for a friend of mine and a teammate of mine, Tim Cooper. He wanted to learn Spanish, and I wanted to learn English. So the bus rides were like 14 hours on the bus. You guys remember the movie Major League? Well, the bus was just broken just like that. You know, sometimes, you know, North Carolina, a lot of hills and all that stuff. Well, most of the time the bus was broke on those hills. Smoke all over the bus, you know, no AC. Oh my God, mess. Well, we made it. But the point was that I think the best thing that I did was not speaking Spanish for that year. So, you know, I have to try to speak to just the language, English, no Spanish. Tim Cooper, I said, Tim, you can laugh all you want. As long as you teach me the right way, I'm fine with that. Well, he never laughed. He never laughed, you know. And he taught me, and by the end of the year, by August, I was able to speak to my manager, to my teammate, and my career take off from that moment.
You came up to the Yankees in '95, and there was a huge event the next year with regard to your pitching. Mariano said before that he wasn't pitching 90 miles an hour or more, but in '96 you began to pitch 95, 96 miles an hour, and that was because you were very good?
No, I didn't do nothing. I'm telling you, I keep doing. People were saying I did. I said, no, I didn't do nothing. I just show up, and the Lord did the rest. You know, to me, I mean, my career, guys, and my career is just a miracle. You know, I can never say that I did something because it will be a lie. I have to prepare myself, yes. I had to run, I had to do all that stuff, and I did that well. You know, because I love the game of baseball. But the Lord opened doors and allowed me to do things that I was shocked. I mean, when I sometimes I start thinking I had to stop because I can't comprehend what happened in my career. I can't. I cannot. So I mean, perhaps the cutter. No one showed me that. No one teach me that pitch. No one, no man or no flesh or blood teach me that.
That was Mariano's great pitch.
That was the pitch. That was the pitch.
Tell us, there may be one or two people here who can't distinguish a cutter from, Ann, for example. I bet you can't tell a cutter from a plain old fastball. Would you tell us what a cutter is?
And I'm going to tell you, not only I'm going to tell you what cutter is, but how it happened, so you guys understand. 1996, we won the World Series. John was there. But John was there in Japan. He was in Japan, and we were here in New York. But he was there throwing. You throw something at the TV?
Many things.
Many things. In curve, huh? See? So,
Didn't go straight. It went like
didn't go straight.
that. Went like that. I don't know what happened.
So 96, we won the World Series, okay? So 97, I had a great year, thank God. 97, I was just working. I was in Panama, working out, just happy to be the settlement. Well, I received a phone call, and they said, the Yankees said, well, I mean, we didn't sign Wetland. John Wetland was the closer of those years. So, and then I said, well, who will be the guy then? Me, I was thinking, well, I will do the job that I was doing in 1996, and you will find out some closer. So they said, well, no, you are the closer. I said, me? So that's something. See, start thinking though, you know, because I mean, I wasn't looking for that. It's the Lord was just putting me in places that I will be successful. See, He was the one that was open door for me. Not me, all right? And I'm going to go a little bit farther. I started the year trying to, since I was the closer, I was trying to do so good that I was doing the opposite. I was doing so bad. And it was like I was trying to move in quicksand. You know, and the more I moved, the more I sunk. So I was playing catch one afternoon with my partner, Ramiro Mendoza, also Panamanian. And threw the ball the same way that I always threw the ball since I was 6 years old. And this time the ball started moving. The ball started moving out of nowhere. Now, Ramiro Mendoza, my partner, is mad at me. I can see it in his eyes. You know, he's mad at me. Now, you guys can start thinking. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But I keep throwing the ball, and the ball keep moving. So now I'm pitching. Now I have my catcher mad at me, Joe Girardi. Joe is my catcher. Now he's mad at me. He's coming to the mound and said, throw the ball straight. I said, I'm throwing the ball straight. I'm throwing it. Just catch the ball. You know? Catcher has to know where it's coming. And they have to know where it's moving. I have no idea where that ball was moving. So after the game, well, I think we won. I don't remember. But we went to Detroit, all Detroit Stadium. And I remember working with Mel Stalomeyer for almost 30 to 40 minutes, trying to make the ball stop moving. Thank God that didn't happen. Because it would have been the biggest mistake that I ever done.
Have you ever thought that God can't throw a straight ball?
Oh man, I never thought about it.
And that clears everything up, doesn't it? Well, that was, there were 5 world championships, 5 baseball championships. Mariano saved at least 25 games in 15 consecutive seasons. There were the 5 championships. In 2000, Jack Carey called him the infallible weapon. In 2005, he had his best season to date. And in 2008, he played his last season at the old stadium. What are your memories of the old Yankee Stadium?
I remember when 1995, when I just came up to the big leagues. I used to come on Sundays early to the stadium. I would say around 8 o'clock. Just got there because we play afternoon games. So I mean, got there early and just sit there and try to picture. You know, you're talking about Babe Ruth. You're talking about Mickey Mantle. You're talking about Yogi Rivera. You know, you're talking about all those great players that went through that field that I was just sitting and trying to picture those guys there. It was the most amazing time in my life in Yankee Stadium. You know, obviously, you know, the career, the World Series there. I believe that we have 3 of them there. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, so many great moments, and also I remember feeling the stadium shaking in those magical games that we have there. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, to me, that is something that I will take to the day I die, with the knowing that that stadium was more than a stadium. To us, was a house.
Yeah.
You know, it was a place where we just lived.
Ruth built.
It's amazing, amazing.
That was about the best thing my dad took me to, was ball games at the old Yankee Stadium, and especially night games. I don't know what it was. I guess I got to stay up later.
Late.
But
there you go.
In 2009, you were the Sporting News' Pro Athlete of the Year, and 2 years later, you set the record for saves. You set out the next season, 2012, because you'd had that freak injury, running around shagging balls in the outfield like a boy who didn't know how to behave, tore his knee, and decided to sit out the season, but not retire. We'll get to that. What did you do that year? This is about the next chapter.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, believe it or not, I was thinking to retire that year. After that year, I said, well, you know, I have enough, so I just gonna retire. But the Lord have different plans. Again, you know, He always build the path for me, and He decided to say, well, I'm gonna sit you down for a little bit. You know, I have different plans for you. So May 3rd, I was in Kansas City. We were playing, actually, we were just very first game there. We was shagging some fly ball the way I did for 20 some years. And this time, my knee just gave up and I turned my my ACL. Turn. So lose the year. But while I was doing that, when I got hurt, I started raising money for the church. We were gathering in my house, like almost 2 years. I know we're filming this, and I didn't want to know about that. But because it was in my house where you shouldn't have service in the house because it's beautiful houses like this. And anyway, so I was raising funds, and while while I was hurt, we were able to raise a lot of money for the church where we are right now. And the Lord again opened door and allowed me to do that. Did some commercials with Acura where they pay a lot of money and everything went to the church. See, I didn't get one penny. I wrote this book, and everything went to the church. So while I was hurt, we were doing all these things, and the Lord allowed me to feel that moment and enjoy at the same time, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to give back to the community, so that was like my introduction to the job that I wanted to end up doing the rest of my life, I would say so. So, but I say one thing, amigo Leo. I say one thing. I said this. I asked the Lord this. I said, Lord, I just want you to give me one more year. Just one more year so I can retire the way I want to. And he did. He gave me one of the greatest years that I can have. And that's the reason why I retired. Because I asked one more year for the Lord, and the Lord just gave it to me. And with that, it wasn't better stage or better moment to leave the game of baseball than that time,
At the All-Star game that year, Mariano was the most valuable player. And this is what he writes in The Closer, which if you, don't pick it up tonight because you won't get any sleep. It's not a book you can put down. It's just a wonderful book. And it's, as you said at the beginning, it's really about Mariano Rivera. I guess Judy said it. It's not only about the closer in the limited sense. He's has finished the 8th inning and pitches 2 innings in the 9th inning. And Derek Jeter and Andy Pettit come out to take him off the mound. They had told him they were thinking about that, and he said, please, please, don't do that, don't do that. But they came out anyway. I don't want to leave, but I am ready. I decide I need to go back to the mound. He means leaving the stadium. I need to go back to the mound, my office for the last 19 years, one more time. I toe the rubber a couple of times and then bend down and scoop up a handful of dirt and pack it into my right hand. It makes sense to me. I started playing in dirt, so I might as well finish playing in dirt, the perfect keepsake for a simple man. But then there's this new chapter, the chapter where Mariano's faith comes completely to the fore. Let's go back a little bit, though, in time. You were baptized and made your first communion, but you told me you were not much of a church-going guy. And then when I think you were 17, a cousin began to tell you Bible stories, and
Cousin named Vidal started talking to me about the Lord, about story. I didn't know anything, although I was the best Catholic that I was. But I never went to church, So the point that my cousin to me was is like a brother, and we were fishermen, so we were fishing, and he started telling me stories about the Bible, and now he's calling my attention, and my heart is pounding, just hearing the stories about the Bible, about David and Goliath, and many, many stories. So that started moving me towards where the Lord wanted me, And yes, my wife was we got married in. I wanted to get married in the Catholic church because I was Catholic. Well, the father didn't want to marry me there because Clara, my wife, she wasn't. She didn't do the first communion, so we couldn't get married there. So now we end up being married at the church that I became member a few years after that. So again, another chapter of my life that the Lord is putting together.
And after you really became decidedly a Christian, there was an event where you had made a very personal commitment to Jesus.
Yes, but besides that, Father, the Lord always has been, and I had to keep talking about the Lord because that's what it is for me. He's without Him, there's nothing. And because He opens that door that no man opened for me. Matter of fact, I always been here. My family is big brothers, and then cousins and uncles, and it's huge. I came here to the United States, and I'm here alone just with my wife. So I'm thinking why I'm doing here, and I have so many people in Panama that can help me, and I'm doing here alone. My wife, we just got through a tough time with my firstborn. She was like 5 to 6 months pregnant, and the doctor, she was coming to Tampa. The doctor told her that stay away from chickenpox, because on that time, maybe if you get it, it will be hard for the kid. So what do you think happened? On the plane, with some kids there with chickenpox, she got it. So, and at this time, we weren't Christians. Went to the doctor. I was working, so she went with a friend of mine. They gave us the favor to take her while I was working. And the doctor started talking to her. And when the doctor is going to tell you bad news, they start telling you, this, and giving you all kind of things that has no sense to where we went there for. All right, and he says, the Lord has control of everything. Everything belongs to Him, and He gave us a speech. I wasn't there. She's telling me all this, and then he told her the news that the boy was because the chickenpox. And how do you call that? In the vertebrae, up by the neck, at the end, by the spine, didn't close. So he will be born with a gap in there, and eventually he will die. His head will grow full of liquid, and eventually he will die. So that was devastating to us. But at the same time, the friend that took her, he and his wife, they were Christians. So they, at that And that weekend, the women's will have a women's retreat at church for a meeting anyway. So my friend took her and they prayed over her for my boy to be healed. And then after that, she had to go home. I stayed in Tampa. She went back home, and she went straight to the doctor and told her what happened, because the doctor from Tampa told her to go and see the doctor right away and tell her what happened and if they need to do something, the whole yard. But before they did anything, the doctor examined her and took all kind of pictures and all that stuff, and the boy was healed. My boy was healed. Never, I mean, he's my older one, 21 years old. He's healthy as can be, thank God. But see, the Lord has done all that stuff and then more.
So the new chapter is called Faith Leads, my interpretation, to a refuge of hope. And this is what Mariano writes towards the end of the closer. I loved playing baseball games for the New York Yankees, and I am grateful every day for my experiences in baseball. Pardon me. I have the dirt from the new stadium and the bullpen bench from the old stadium. And I have memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. I will never forget how it felt to put on that uniform every day. Through all of my years as a closer for the New York Yankees, I tried to honor the Lord, to live and play with a pure heart, and to give everything I had every day to the team and its fans. And that is just what I seek to do with my new calling. I know the possibilities are without limit, and the best is yet to come. For as it is written in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And this book is dedicated to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and the family he has blessed me with, my beautiful wife, Clara, and our three wonderful boys, Mariano Jr., Yafet, and Yaziel. I know you'd like to hear hours more, but maybe that's the right place to stop.